Hey, Woolie.
Yeah.
What if you just made the same thing from 1996 to like the 2020s?
Are you
And you
making...
just made the same game 9 times in a row.
Does it sell millions of copies every time you do it?
It starts to near the end a little bit.
Well, you're already doing better than 99.9% of other people trying to do that.
And what if you lost the rights to that game every single time you made it? And so you had to put a goofy little prefix in front of all your games. So you call the first one Xenogears, and then you leave that company and you completely lose all the rights to everything you made. So then you go to work for a new company and you call it Xenosaga, and then you make 3 of those, and then you leave and you lose all the rights to literally every single fucking thing you made. And then you go to work for another company and you make Xenoblade, and you're like, hey, I think we got it this time. I think we did it. I think we actually did it. So I beat Xenoblade over the last week. I beat Xenoblade 1 Chronicles.
Did they do it? Did they finally do it?
I have never seen a more obvious excuse of we're like, no, we'll just do it again.
Yeah.
Well, now we'll just do it again. At about the 50-60% mark, I started just looking at the screen and going, I can't believe they're literally just going to do Xenogears again.
Yeah.
Plot points so specific. There are no other games that I have ever seen do them but these games. And they're just doing them again. Like exactly the same. And they're so smart about it. So Xenogears takes place on a far-off alien planet, but it's humans, right? Xenosaga takes place in space, but it's the same humans, and and Xenoblade takes place on a far-off planet, and it's still humans, kind of, but and they all exist just a little bit outside the range that the other games could see. So even though we lost all the rights to everything, there's nothing in any of them that would directly contradict anything in the other ones. So even though it's owned by Square Enix and Bandai Namco and Nintendo, you could just be like, oh yeah, Xenogears is totally happening. We just don't turn the camera over the 3 degrees you would need to see what's happening in Xenogears. It's definitely
sick.
Over there. Don't worry.
Sick. I mean, if you want, you can go full on Mazinger Zero with it and just have these outlines of the shapes of things you recognize, if you want to. Shadows and
you could do that.
Shadowy silhouettes.
You could have some really wildly specific shapes. Start to appear.
There we go. Yeah.
You could have really important metaphysical Gnostic influences that just happen to be an incredibly specific shade of metallic red and seafoam energy green on literally everything of a certain nature. You can just do that.
Amazing. Can't stop you.
You could have the symbolic X in every single game be offset in a really specific way that only the Xeno games do. You could just start naming things after things you found in the Bible or the Torah or the Kabbalah or any Gnostic text that you read in high school and went, whoa, that sounds cool, I'm gonna put it in. Just like Evangelion did.
Love it.
So I beat Xenoblade Chronicles in 40 hours. As part of my beelining series, in which I only did content that was directly in front of me and just went straight ahead the entire time. That is 12 and a half hours below the average time on just the main story on how long to beat. So like I zoomed through that bitch.
Okay.
Like as fast as you can go.
Do you have a calculation on side quests completed versus skipped?
I picked up side quests that were next to me.
Yeah.
And I did side quests that were in my way.
But
like,
do you know if that was like
path.
10% or just?
I don't know.
No, okay.
20%.
Okay.
Fucking. I don't know. I intentionally did one because it was the only one in the entire game that had voice acting.
Okay.
Yeah, people are saying like 1% total. That's a really good game. That's a really, really fucking good game. That is the type of good game that I can see if you played it when you were 10 could become like a not insignificant amount of your personality.
No, if you played it right after you had played Xenogears and you waited long enough to be frustrated at it not getting a sequel.
Well, here's the thing. Xenogears did get a sequel. It was called Xenosaga, and they're actually really bad. Well, that's the problem.
Okay. Yeah.
So that kind of salted the earth on it a little bit. Yeah, no, that's a really, really, really excellent good game. The Switch version, the definitive edition, makes a bunch of changes that are quite excellent. It came out in like 2010, 2011, around then. And it does like a really specific RPG plot line way better than a much later Final Fantasy game.
Okay.
And it's like the same villain just executed on like a much, much more consistent and more interesting level.
Monolith is like Nintendo funded, right? A second party at this point.
It was complicated for a while, but they are just now a Nintendo company.
Okay. Yeah.
And it's like from a musical perspective, from a cast perspective, from a storyline perspective, it is just top to bottom like a universally excellent game. There is a bunch of weird systemic nonsense, like the side quest system is still terrible, and the gem forging system for upgrades is still like a mess. There's also there's a system called Heart to Heart in that game, which is interesting but like remarkably poorly like introduced and made. So basically what it is as you do side quests with a certain party, or as you do battles with a certain party. So say you're playing as the main guy Shulk, who is in Smash, and say you've got Dunban, who is the mentor character, and Ricky, the cute little mascot guy, right? And say you do a bunch of quests. That will increase these characters' affinities, right? It'll be like a sad face, and then like a line across the mouth face, and then like a green happy face, and like a blue really happy face, and like a purple ecstatic face, right? And that shows you how their affinity is, how much they get along, right? Well, there's what's called a heart to heart sprinkled all over the game, and what those are is like, hey, when you have green affinity between Ricky and Dunban, you'll be able to go to the heart to heart, and they'll be able to have a little chat, and you'll be able to find out. Dunban will ask about Ricky's kids, and Ricky will ask Dunban about how his arm is feeling, and that kind of thing,
like skits in the Tales games.
Absolutely. Just like skits in a Tales game. There's only one problem with the heart-to-hearts in Xenoblade, despite the fact that they're interesting and their story content is like very interesting thematically, and there's a lot of stuff that you would find out in those. Like, people had to tell me that so-and-so had like an entire romantic subplot that I just completely missed because I didn't do their heart-to-heart, right? The problem is that every single one I encountered in the game was locked when I got to it. Literally every single one was locked. Every single one I got to was like, hey, this is a heart-to-heart between Melia and Rhine when they are maxed out on affinity. And I went, I don't have Melia and Rhine in my party, and I never will. So I guess this shit will just never get done, ever. And then I'm like, well, I rolled me, Ricky, and Dunban for like, Shulk, Ricky, Dunban for like nearly the whole game, right? And I'm like, okay. and I'll get to like, hey, here's one between Ricky and Dunban. Locked until max affinity. Dude, this is like 50% through the game. I'm not coming back to this. Like, fuck.
So this is anti-beelining mechanics.
Oh, it's super like, hey, when you increase your affinity, why don't you roll back on every area in the game and see what heart to hearts you've unlocked?
Right.
And I'm like, this sucks. How about you just have the fucking skits available when they fucking feel like it? How about that? How about I don't have to grind out characters in battles or side quests so that I can find out that Ryan and Melia don't get along or whatever the fuck it is. And then I recently started playing the DLC called Future Connected, or it's not DLC, it's an extra episode that came with the definitive edition. And they rolled that back. They're like, okay, heart to hearts don't have anything to do with affinity. They have to do with story progress. So as you get certain limits of the story, you just do them whenever the fuck they want. Just do them.
Yeah, that's.
And they also gutted the whole. Gem system. It's very interesting playing a DLC episode that came out like after its own sequels, because they're taking like lessons learned from like Xenoblade 2 and its DLC and backporting them into Xenoblade 1.
Okay.
Because like the Future Connected came out after Xenoblade 2 and its own DLC, but it's for Xenoblade 1. So it's like a little preview of the sequels and how they work.
Huh. Did they sell it like that?
It's part of the definitive edition. On the Switch.
Okay.
There's something else that I need to talk about Xenoblade, which is really interesting to me. So you remember what Xenoblade 1 looks like? It looks like Shulk and those guys, right? It looks like
the Monado and
JRPG.
RPGing it. Yeah.
Boy, they say the word Monado a lot. Oh my god. Oh my god, the Monado. It's crazy. You would not believe the amount of different types of British accents you could hear say the word Monado.
Oh yeah, every corner there's Northerners and Southerners and Cockneys and
it's bananas.
EastEnders.
And then you remember what Xenoblade 2 looks like, and Xenoblade 2 looks like some anime Gooner shit.
Yes,
right?
with the gacha and the costumes and the dating your weapons.
And all the hentai artists did all the gacha shit.
Yeah, big lewds.
And I was always so confused. I'm like, what? That's so strange. Why did they go from like what looks like a fairly normal looking JRPG that looked classy, and then they were like, hey, you know what? We should put in our game a bunch of asses and titties, right? Just big old titties all over the place. And then I hit like the 60 or 70% mark in Xenoblade and discovered that the only difference between those games is where those characters live in terms of progression. Because you hit like the 60, 70% mark in fucking Xenoblade Chronicles 1, and you start getting some characters. You start getting some fucking characters.
Yeah. Okay. Sure. Right.
And they just got all that shit out there, and they're just pandering to everything.
Well, I'm just remembering
all over the place.
I'm just remembering how every single one of those Persona games that I played had at some point that steel bikini you're gonna unlock for the party. Like no matter what their energy is or what you think of them, that's gonna be one of those things that you're gonna unlock. Yeah. Okay. So it was there.
Yeah, it was there all along. It was there, but it was only for people who got deep enough into the game, and that makes Xenoblade 2 look way more normal by comparison. Because they're like, well, you beat Xenoblade 1. You know what we got hiding back here. So let's just put it up front for y'all.
Yeah, as long as like if there's sincerity to your horny, if I believe in it, then all right.
Also, like it's one of those things. Like Xenoblade 2 has a character called Rex in it, and everybody makes fun of him because he's got a bad voice role because he didn't get enough time to do it. But also, he looks like a weird little weirdo with assless chaps in his weird diving suit, and he looks like a freak. And then like the reality of like a single screenshot later, finding out that he's the Impregnator. Like completely changes his character before you even get to him in Xenoblade 2.
Got it. Okay. Is this one of those things where the game itself is like not that horny, but it's just the aesthetics of these characters?
The game itself is not horny at all.
Right, okay.
At all.
It's just what they're wearing. Yeah.
It's just well, okay, let me roll that back. The game itself is not horny at all, except for a couple of cutscenes where the camera decides to get super horny.
Okay.
The camera specifically. None of the characters.
No, that still counts. That still counts.
But the camera's like, you know what we need to do? We need to pan during this conversation.
Yeah,
we need to pan right here.
If God is horny, then the game is horny. That still counts.
Yeah. But yeah, no, Xenoblade 1 is great. I had a great experience just flying through that fucking game. It was really interesting. This might be the first RPG I have played in my life in which I was fighting bosses underneath their level.
The first time.
Like fighting a boss that was like level 80 and I was like level 76. And having a final boss in a JRPG in which I had to actually fight my shit off instead of just completely roll over them.
As intended.
Yeah, as intended.
Struggle and just barely get past that.
Yeah, it took me like 10 tries to beat the final boss of Xenoblade.
Huh.
And I had to really like clutch it out.
Isn't it fun to like?
It is actually fun. Yeah,
have a tense battle. Yeah.
Yeah. No, it is. It was weird though. It was very strange. That game's great. That game's super good. I would advise everybody who likes RPG to play the Xenoblade Chronicles.
Chronicles, not Xenoblade.
Xenoblade's actual title is Xenoblade Chronicles.
Oh, okay.
They literally all have the title Xenoblade Chronicles.
Okay, sorry. Then I was missing it up because I thought it was like Xenoblade 2, or Xenoblade Chronicles, and then Chronicles X.
So it goes Xenoblade Chronicles, Xenoblade Chronicles X, Xenoblade Chronicles 2, Xenoblade Chronicles 3. But that's not what it actually does. What it actually is Xenoblade Chronicles, Xenoblade Chronicles Future Connected, which is its extra episode. Then Xenoblade Chronicles X, then Xenoblade Chronicles 2, then Xenoblade Chronicles 2, The Undiscovered Country. Then it goes Xenoblade Chronicles 3, Xenoblade Chronicles 3, Future Redeemed. So Xenogears was supposed to be episode 5 in a 6-episode series. And then when they made Xenoblade Chronicles, what they did is they made one main game and one DLC for each of them. So now it is a 6-episode series.
Okay, and Definitive Edition Xenoblade Chronicles collects the DLCs for each respective game.
No, it's just the first game.
Okay.
Just play 1, 2, 3. That's and then if you want robots, you play X.
But there's a Xenoblade Chronicles X Definitive Edition that is coming. Yeah. Came out. That came out. Yes. Right. Okay. Yes.
And there's a very significant possibility that in 10-ish days there will be a Nintendo Direct where they announce Switch 2 versions of these games.
Oh. Okay.
That is a gut feeling I have in my ass. There's a possibility that they may put out Switch 2 versions of these games. Maybe.
I always thought about it from...
I don't know.
Okay. As somebody that was like fairly, like I'm like mid-interested, but not a ton, I always thought that if I jumped in, perhaps I'd consider the one where you had the mecha move like as the main.
So that one exists totally separate from the other 3.
Which is why I was thinking
you totally can do that.
Yeah, that's it. I've heard that before, and I was like, okay, that seems like something I would enjoy doing, But either way, the interest is not like super duper high. Cool. All right, beelining successful.